Testing, testing. Yeah, I think we're live. Okay. Hope you all are having a great day on this Saturday. This is going to be the Weekend Tech Update show that I'm going to do. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to schedule this show, but I think I want to do a regular weekend Hope you all are having a great day on this. Let me mute that and get that straightened out. So yeah, I want to start doing a regular live show for all of you and give you basically just go over the whole week's tech, what I think is the most important tech news that I saw during the week, and just have a nice little fun show showing you all of the tech news out there while we just kick back and talk about it. I may actually start bringing in doing a panel and bring in a few people if some people have anything to add or want to give their opinion on certain tech topics of the week that we want to talk about. Because the tech world changes rapidly, things are changing all the time, so keeping up with all of it is a rather hard thing for a lot of us. So a kind of well-rounded one tech show that kind of gives you, a brief update on the most important things going on out there in the tech world, I think will be very useful to a lot of you out there. While I'm also getting ready to re-kickstart the channel, and I'm going to talk about some reasons why I kind of slowed down a little bit. I got another channel we're working on getting up, been doing some work around the house. That's part of it. Another project was going on with somebody that I was doing stuff with the last several weeks to a month. On top of that, there are some concerns on YouTube about, making sure that my content doesn't get flagged or have any problems with YouTube. And so that's a big issue that I'm going to address later in this show a little more in depth and talk about one of the reasons why also one big YouTuber got hit, and going to talk about that and talk about I haven't gotten hit with any of my videos, but there are some videos that are videos I have to go back and question and look at and double check. I'm trying not to put anything in here that will cause any problems on YouTube at all, but sometimes when they want to change the terms of service anytime to whatever they want it to be, we don't have any control over that. So we do have to be careful what we're posting and what we're actually doing on YouTube as well. All of us do. So it is definitely a real thing, considering issues that I've had years ago. I'm trying to be careful while still trying to give you guys good information. Let's go ahead and get on with talking about the news, right? So one of the big news is the new Amazon Fire TV stick that's on the market. To make a long story short, I'm not really going to talk about details on this thing. I'm just gonna say don't buy it. It's got a new operating system, side loading's blocked. There's issues with running VPNs on these new devices, not to mention with compatibility problems because it's a new operating system. Your best bet is to just move on to a entirely new product if you are running Amazon and you're in the market to buy a new product. I have a few videos on with some reviews on the Formula as well as on GT Media. The ONN Google device is a good option to go with at the moment. We're not exactly sure when Google might make changes on that OS or whether OS updates will come in to even start blocking side loading on those devices. So those devices may continue to do side loading and then newer devices that have an OS update, because Google's planning on blocking things too, but that's only on Google. And I'm going to talk about a future operating system that might be a really good choice for us going forward. So stick around for the show if you want me to tell you about that toward the end. I'm going to talk a little more in depth about that and what I think and why I think that it is definitely going to be an option for a lot of us going forward in the future. We're talking about a couple of years down the road. Now, I already went back and told you guys not to buy this. I told you Vega OS was coming to the Fire Stick 2-3 years ago. I put information on my channel out. I put a short about it out. So if you've been following me, you would have already known that. All you have to do is listen to what I tell you, and you're going to have a much, much better time because I'm giving you information that's very, very useful, and you're going to thank me for it years down the road. So right now we may be in a situation to where, hey, nothing's going on with Android, but just wait. Google authorized devices in a few years will have a similar-ish situation to what's going on with the Fire TV products as well. So that's something to definitely be aware of and to try to make a smart decision now, because in not getting a authorized Android box is your best choice if you want something that's more versatile, that's going to run more apps and do a little bit more. There's no perfect device out there. You have to decide for yourself what your needs are and what your wants are. So going over Amazon's stuff going forward, pretty much everything will be running Vega OS. Amazon wants to be like Roku. They want to control the operating system. So in the other news with Amazon had a cloud store outage that was resolved, but it initially caused outage of a lot of different services because the AWS servers, if you don't know, Amazon's one of the biggest server companies, and they have servers for tons of other major companies out there. So when there is an outage, you can find that there will be outages on other companies, including social media, gaming, food delivery, streaming, and financial platforms. Amazon servers are running all of those type of businesses. So that's a big issue. This is one of the things we have going on with the data centers and everything that are running these servers for everybody. So this is important to know about. Also, this is one of their big businesses. Not just selling you products on their website where you go and buy a Fire Stick. They don't make much money on the Fire Sticks. When it comes down to it, Fire Stick is not their main avenue of income. So they really don't care that they're going to be blocking side loading and taking away that ability from you. They have other things that are making the money. Just like NVIDIA makes most of their money in the AI market. Right now, Amazon's looking more toward the server and the cloud storage market, as well as their sales as well. So there is they have multiple avenues of income going on there that's going to make a difference. Let's see if anybody has any questions about anything. Just leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll be happy to address those questions in the chat. Going forward, we got a lot of articles, a lot of news to talk about in this show, and I'm just trying to give you the best information I can. I don't buy much from Amazon anymore myself. This was just news that I kind of wanted to make people aware. I don't know if a lot of people understood. They know Amazon's a site where you buy a lot of products. A lot of people might not know that Amazon's like the company when it comes to cloud storage and servers out there for everybody. So, that's a big deal. Then you got, so Amazon launches the new Fire TV stick. This is an article, and this talks about good luck using it with a VPN, and here's why. They launched the new Fire TV Stick 4K. The device is being billed as an affordable alternative to Amazon's other Fire TV sticks, costing $39.99. It's the first to run on its Linux-based Vega OS. Linux-based. Well, Android's Linux-based. I talked about this in previous videos. Lots of OSs are Linux-based out there, including the software that runs on my router, which is pfSense. And you could go this OS and this OS and this OS. There's tons of OSs that are Linux based. That doesn't mean they are Linux or are running a true Linux distro. They're kind of based on in the back end on Linux. The change promises faster performance and better security. The move away from Android means best VPNs. The only way they're going to get faster performance and better security is by stopping throwing a bunch of ads at you that slows it down and decreases security on their devices. They're selling advertisements, selling you a device that they're selling the device. They're making money selling the device to you. They're making money pushing ads to you. And then they're also making money pushing a streaming service to you. And then they're making money on the ads on the streaming service to you. And so they're making money all the way around. I mean, it's double, triple dipping when it comes to everything. I've talked about that before in previous videos about how I think the industry is getting very greedy and corrupt. They're not making it easy for us to do legitimate services. They need to make it more easy for legitimate services, and that'll decrease piracy. But they don't, and this causes major issues. And especially when problems with VPNs, that's a big issue for a lot of people. A lot of people want to run a VPN for security reasons, or they want to get around the problems with geo-blocking content from other countries. Maybe they're here in the United States from another country, or maybe you're in another country from the US and you want to geo-unblock the content from your country. That's a legitimate reason to use a VPN. And so if you can't do that, that's a big issue. Some people aren't going to be able to get the content that they want in order to watch the things they want to watch. So that's a huge issue as well for all of you to know about. Let's go ahead and move on to another article. So Gemini is a big thing I've been checking out. So Gemini, it appears on another new device, and it's still not the Google TV streamer. So the Gemini is an AI assistant that should help with a lot of home automation and a lot of things. And they were showing it on the Sony Bravia TV. Sony has a long history of making TVs with the Android operating system on it. So that's probably where that comes from. Got a little ad coming up on the website there. So Gemini is something that I will be exploring more on my channel and talking a little bit more about it. I think it's something that could be very useful for a lot of people who want to do more of the automation thing without using Amazon. If you want to move away from Alexa and Amazon and that type of thing, that this could be a good alternative. They do need to get it on more devices. They need to get it fine-tuned, etc., etc. But that is something that I think could be a very useful tool going forward. None of us can 100% predict the way the tech industry will go. These are my best guesses as far as what's going to happen, but I do know that Google is actively trying to compete on that stage. So we'll see how that rolls. Now here's UG Tech, Italy's weird new plan to stop IPTV pirates. So if you haven't watched this video, it's an interesting video to check out. Basically what's going on is they're just going to shame these IPTV pirates that are pushing the IPTV in Italy. Now, if you don't understand why this is a very important thing, it's the backbone and the main controlling of IPTV is by the mafia, and it does most of the controlling of the servers, and a lot of the stuff that is out there is controlled in that region. So that's why Italy is an important thing to understand, why this right here is important in what he's talking about. But it's very stupid what they're doing. It's not going to work. These guys don't care. There's too much money on the table that they're making. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's a good watch. I'd recommend going over and checking out the video and checking his channel out. I don't agree with all the videos or all the stuff he puts out, but No, you can't agree with everybody on everything. So this is nice. Microsoft makes it official. Dark mode is getting a major and sorely needed upgrade on Windows 11. A lot of us love dark mode in a lot of apps, so this is a cool thing. I will have to test and mess with it and then do a video on it to let you know. I do have the 25H2 fully updated on this PC, and so I hopefully will be able to check some of these updates with this information out, because it might be kind of cool. So some of you might be interested in that who really like dark mode ability. I know I prefer it over regular light mode. So yeah, if anybody has any questions while I'm going over these articles, feel free to put something in the chat and let me know if you have any questions at all. I'll be happy to answer anything. Yahoo Finance. So Yahoo Finance. So this gets into the gaming market, and I'm going to talk a good amount about this because this, I think, is stuff going on with Microsoft in the gaming side of things is really important. And they're doing good and bad things. So Microsoft is bringing Windows and Xbox closer together. And I have some other articles to talk about why I think the future of the Xbox console is limited. I think it's at end of life. I think we're going to see the end of the Xbox console as we know it as an actual console. We're going to see a more expanded version of that Xbox console, and there's good reason for it. And I'm going to talk more about that. But Microsoft's bringing Windows and Xbox closer together so you can game anywhere. Now, some of the reasons that this is important is Microsoft has been working on, and they are coming together with a whole host of ways to use the Xbox, your monthly Xbox subscription on as many devices as possible, whether that's your PC or whether it's your Fire Stick or whether it's a handheld or a tablet. This means you don't need a gaming console to play a lot of games if you have Game Pass and you're able to play them from the cloud servers. This is kind of their future thing where they have a monthly subscription. You have hundreds of games or more. I don't know, thousands. I don't know. I don't know exactly how many games are on Game Pass. I don't personally have Game Pass myself, but my good friend does, and I'll probably be using his Game Pass with an actual Xbox to do some kind of show you guys some review videos on some of that that will kind of give you kind of an idea on what things are going through with Game Pass, because Game Pass just hiked the price 2 times as from what I've heard, which is pretty significant, a pretty significant price hike. Now, the other side of this is Xbox actually partnered with Asus, so they made an ROG Xbox Ally, that handheld gaming device that is a device that is a full-fledged PC, but with an Xbox button. So now you have an Xbox handheld game console PC. Okay, so this is supposed to be a new interface, new OS type thing. I think we're entering into the realm where Microsoft will have a gaming version of Windows that will be the Xbox maybe version of Windows. These machines are highly powerful. I mean, we're talking 8 cores, 16 threads, a lot of power. These machines are capable of doing so much if you hook them to a full monitor, mouse, keyboard. You got a full machine that's got a lot of power in it. So this is this is definitely interesting. Now they're talking about, oh, but it's priced, it's $1,000. Well, yeah. What do you pay for a gaming PC? And when you're looking at the prices of what the PlayStation is, the price doesn't look that out of reason. There are other handhelds that actually are even way up there more, but you can get cheaper ones. And then you've got the new, the new Legion Go, which is on the market, which I'll be doing some videos and information about that in the future as well. But I think what we have is we have a transition going on. After releasing a $1,000 handheld, Microsoft has said its next-gen Xbox console is going to be a very premium, very high-end curated experience. So what are they going to do? Are they going to have an ROG, Asus ROG Xbox? Because now they've got an ROG Asus Xbox handheld. So are they going to partner with them to make the next Xbox? So Microsoft is no longer making hardware. They're just making software, because it is Microsoft, not Microhard. And they do know the money's more in their subscriptions and in their games and their software. So that's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal for a lot of people to understand in the gaming market what actually is going on with Xbox and what's going on with Microsoft, because a lot of changes are happening. And it's going to affect, definitely going to affect Sony and Nintendo. And here's the reason why. A lot of people say, well, it won't really affect Nintendo. Well, kind of will, because what you have is you're going to now have a platform, Xbox, the platform Xbox, not the console, but the platform Xbox, which is going to be available on more devices than anything else, which means it's going to be being played on more things and going to be the biggest platform for gaming there is. That's a significant thing when you think about it, because if the game companies want to sell their games, they're going to want their games on the platform that the most people are on. Now, the other side of the coin, well, what about Steam? Okay, well, Steam is on Windows. Windows is Microsoft. Microsoft is Xbox. So you're going to have these Xbox handhelds also being able to play all the whole Steam library. That's significant because that makes it way more capable of playing a lot more games. Once they have the interface fine-tuned, which I'm sure they will with the Xbox button, you can already, I run a Legion Go, and you can already take that Legion Go, and you can already put a front end on it and make it a super simple interface. You can put, there's multiple front ends out there to use, whether you're using the front end from Steam to use it on Windows to run your Steam games, and you can actually run more Steam games than you can from the Steam Deck on one of these handhelds because it's more fully compatible with the Steam library. You can actually run, then you can use your Xbox Game Pass and all kinds of other stuff. There's more options available to you when it comes down to it at the end of the day. So everybody should understand that. There's absolutely no reason to go out and buy a limited handheld and pay a good amount of money. If you're paying $300, $400, $500 for an Android handheld, for instance, or you're paying, $400, $500, $600 for, the Steam Deck, there's no need. One of these. The only handheld that you could possibly say that you would want to have with this would be a Switch 2, because why would you need a Steam Deck when you can play everything from Steam and more games than a Steam Deck can play on one of these handhelds right here? Spend a little bit more, get this, and it's a full-fledged PC, so you can do anything you want with it. And not just the ROG, but any of these Windows-based handhelds that are running, and there's a lot of inexpensive ones that are running the Z1 Extreme that you're going to get down in the $400 or $500 range. And that's going to be an absolute great buy for you if you want to get into a good handheld, market and play tons and tons of games without spending $1,000, $1,500 or whatever. So that's a big deal. Microsoft didn't release this $1,000 handheld. It was released by Asus. So if Microsoft's Xbox division is going to partner with them on a handheld, why not partner on a actual gaming console that basically is just a PC? That's what I see happening in the future with Xbox. Let's take a look at more information. So this was from Linus Tech Tips right here. And even he's saying the Xbox might be cooked. And he goes on talking about the fact that they've raised their rates. A lot of they've a lot of changes in Xbox. So if you're not subscribed to Linus Tech Tips, some of his videos are you don't want to watch him, but he has some videos about some information that actually is very good information to know. Just like everybody's YouTube channel. You're not going to want to watch most YouTube channels. You're not going to want to watch every video they put out. But they're going to have a video on a subject that you're interested in, and then you're going to want to watch it. So this was a very useful subject here.
Snap, snip, snap. I mean, it shouldn't surprise us that much. If we go back to 2013, there was that time Microsoft forgot they were making a game console.
Xbox, go home.
But more recently, these WTF moments seem to be happening more and more frequently, to the point where it's raising the question, is Xbox even going to exist within another generation or two?
I think the Xbox system, will exist. I don't think we will have necessarily a console Xbox that's what we think of as a gaming console today. Gaming consoles are inherently proprietary and limited. Something I don't want. I would much prefer have a full PC that's more capable. That being said, you can take a full PC and still make it really simple and limited if all you want is the gaming portion of it, which is what I think we're going to see happen. I think they're going to be partnering up with companies that are going to produce the hardware, and Xbox is going to move on to focusing on the games software and making sure that the software is smoothly made so that the interface is nice for everybody, and they're still going to sell their Xbox peripherals, right? They'll still sell the controllers and everything. That's another thing. Today, if you have an actual Xbox, you have to get a legitimate, proper Xbox controller. You can't run other controllers. It has to be licensed by Microsoft. If you're running it on a PC, though, you can run pretty much any controller you want. Flexibility. This is what I'm always preaching. Options, more flexibility for all of you to be able to play more games and run more things and use more hardware. Why close yourself off to a device that does less and is limited? Period. There's no reason for it. Just make a smart decision and buy the device that does more. And here's the thing. They're going to say, oh, I don't like the interface. Blah, 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 blah. No, the interface is what you make it. The problem is the device does more, so it's a little more complicated, and you're too stupid to realize that it can do more things. And that's why it's a little harder to use. Anything that can do more is going to be a little more complicated. So just take some time, learn how to set it up the way you want it, and then you'll be much happier, because then you're not controlled by only the interface they so-called give you on the device that you buy, where you can't load different, looks or launchers or different, different front ends. You want to have that ability. And without that ability, you're at the, mercy of the developer of the product, whether they're going to put out an update that you like or don't like. This has long been an issue with Microsoft and the Xbox platform. They've put out updates to the OS on Xbox, and then sometimes the update they put out, people didn't really like the interface as well as the old one. And, that is a situation to understand. If you want the ability to make sure it's the way you like it, then you gotta get the ability in your mind to set it up the way you like it. Otherwise, you're just making yourself stuck to do whatever they tell you to do. Let's go on to some other news. So I'm an Amiga fan. I grew up using Commodore Amigas. So this is great news. Commodore has been bought. They're producing new Commodore products. I haven't really covered this much on my channel at all, but I really wanted to talk about it today, because the Amiga 1200 retro gaming system that's come armed with a modern HDMI port and 25 classic games is on pre-order launch with a date announced, which is absolutely really cool and awesome. I watched some videos where they toured the factory where they're making these new products, and I just can't believe it this many years later that they are bringing back these old retro devices, that somebody did buy the brand, and they're actually putting out they're putting out new stuff, which is really, really cool. So I can only imagine what might happen going forward in the future, with the brand, with the Amiga and everything. It's just a really, really cool thing for me to see. It just brings me back to my nostalgia days when I was a kid, and that was my computer when I was a kid, a teenager in my bedroom playing Amiga games, back in the day. So, it was really, really neat to see this news, because they did have the Commodore 64. They've re-released that, now this. So, I can only imagine what the plans are going forward for this company, as long as they're able to sell enough products to be a little profitable and keep rolling. So we'll see what happens with that. I thought it was cool news. I wanted to cover it. So just really quick, really quick covering it. The fact that they're coming with an HDMI port, 25 classic games built into it. Really neat setup. Let's move on in the news here. So we've got Google Pixel 10
Take
can
a
now
look.
run Linux
When this
apps.
all-electric SUV goes from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, you're the one who gets charged up.
I'll turn off the ads
Connected,
here.
spacious, in a 300-mile range with the available extended range battery. The Ford Mustang Mach-E.
It's wanting to play. Oh, I can
It's time to see Ford in a new light.
not even letting me turn the audio off.
Take a
on
look. When this all-electric SUV goes from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, you're the one who gets charged up.
Let's close that out. So we had an ad running there. But basically, I'll tell you what that article was talking about. Linux on Android they've made great strides to make the new updates to Android capable of running full Linux apps, programs on Android. So that's a big deal. That will probably help a lot of people be able to run certain things they might want to run on their computer, or on their phone rather, as well as on Android tablets and so on. Moving forward, so I wanted to touch on networking a little bit, because I'm trying to cover a broad scope of tech here. TrueNAS is an OS on an x86 type platform. For a NAS, you can run multiple NAS operating systems, including Windows, including Linux, including whatever you want to run. And so when you're stuck running a NAS like a Synology, you again are stuck with a proprietary operating system where you're stuck hoping the company continues to support the product. This is what's happened in the past with Synology, where they stopped supporting older products, and then they started telling you had to buy their hard drives, and things got really messy for them. Now they've gone back on that whole drive thing, but it still turned a lot of people off to their product. I've owned Synology NASs. I've worked on Synology NASs. I sold mine off. Didn't really care for them. I run a full Windows NAS. That's what I run. But I'm not saying that stuff like TrueNAS is not a good option for people, because it is. And Linux is another good option. And there are other options out there as well. On the x86 platform, unlike ARM-based, you can format the drive and reload a new OS if something new comes out. So for instance, my router is running on a 11th, 12th gen Intel router that I'm running, and it's running PFSense, and it's way overkill for what I need for a router. But I wanted something I could put in place and not worry about it for a long time. The thing is PFSense, OpenSense is another option. So if I wanted to switch to OpenSense, or I wanted to run a different type of OS on that device, I can. If you get an ARM-based device, almost all of them with the exception of a few percent out there, have the ability to run a couple of other OSs that are designed for that particular device. You can't wipe the thing out and run whatever OS you can. Now, this is why I'm a big proponent of x86 and telling people that, hey, if you want the flexibility of later on being able to wipe that thing out and load whatever you want on it. For instance, if you have a Windows-based PC, if you got an ARM-based one, you're not going to be able to wipe that out and run Linux on it. You're not going to be able to wipe that out and run a different operating system because it's completely, it gets loaded in a different way. It's called a firmware that is, it's not flexible at all. You're stuck with hoping that the maker of the product updates that OS, updates drivers, updates security, updates all of that. Instead of you being able to wipe the machine out yourself and just load a different operating system like Linux. This is a big problem I have with a lot of, this is why I pretty much my only Android device now is my phone. I don't run anything else Android. I can run a full Android operating system on my PC with an emulator that is fully capable of running anything Android. It's not limited at all. It's not like the limited way that you can run Windows apps on Linux, which Linux isn't capable of running everything when it comes to gaming or everything when it comes to certain Windows based programs. And if it can run them, it runs them in a way that isn't as good as that you could run them on Windows. That being said, you've also got issues if you want to run certain Linux software on Windows as well. So that's a whole different avenue to go down in the future. Personally, there is no perfect operating system. It really all depends on you. If you're not a gamer, Linux can be a great choice. If you're a gamer, though, you're not going to want to run Linux, in my opinion. It can run a lot of games, and if it does run the games you want to play, that's fine, but be aware it may not run those games in the future that you want to play that come out that are new. A lot of day one games will play, but with games requiring secure boot and games requiring more security and anti-cheat, you're going to run into more games that won't run at all on Linux. This is why you have a information on Steam that tells you if a game is compatible or not on the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck runs Linux. You don't have that for Windows. It just runs. So that's a huge deal. Now, if you want to debloat Windows, there's lots of debloat tools. There's ways to get rid of a lot of the Windows crap that's on Windows. And Windows isn't perfect. I'm not going to sit and say it's perfect. I'm just saying it's the best option out there right now. In a few years, I may have a different opinion. There may be something else that hits the market that may actually run really good. Which brings me to what I think is the best option that's going to be in the future in a few years for us when it comes to Android. And that is Graphene OS. Graphene OS is finally ready to break from Pixels because it would only run on the Pixel phones and it may never look back. So what we've got here is the Graphene OS, the popular privacy-focused Android fork known for its exclusive support of Google Pixel phones, is about to cast a much wider net. The project has confirmed it's working with major Android smartphone manufacturers to bring its secure operating system to future flagship phones as first spotted. So, which means that we could be seeing Graphene OS come available on a lot of other devices. This would be great news for some of us out there that want to buy a new flagship phone but don't want to run a authorized version of Google Android. We want to run a de-Googled OS that allows us to load whatever apps we want to run on our device. Graphene OS is something I don't think a lot of people really have known about because it's been very limited to the Pixel phone. That being said, it is a very good operating system, and the expansion of it onto other devices could be huge for us going forward with what's happening with Google And that's why you got to stay up to date on all the tech information, guys, because what you got here is so for a fool, what is side loading? So side loading is loading an app that is not from the Google Play Store. So if you want to load an app, there a lot of times can be an app you made. Let's just say you made your own app. That app isn't going to be out in an official Play Store. You're going to want to just install that app manually. And so installing an app like that, a good example would be a Kodi fork. A Kodi fork would be something where somebody took Kodi, they changed the icons and the name, and they forked it and maybe added their own wizard app inside it. And there you go. You got your own app. That won't be able to be installed in the future if Google does what they say they're going to do, which I have no reason not to believe them. Also, going to go forward, it probably will do that on the Android TV OS as well. All we have to do right now is sit and wait and speculate. The only thing I can do to speculate is go by what they've already said, and what they've said is what they've said. Yeah, that's it. So I hope all of you have been doing great today. And I wanted to go over all of this information with you to give you some really good information and news on all of the latest news. Now, if anybody wants to come on a panel, I'm going to, since we're at the end of the show now, and they want to give their opinion on things, there's a Google Meets. That I will put on here. And we will talk more about whatever anybody wants to talk about. Does anybody have any information that they want to share? Pop it in the chat there, and I will be happy to go over that, and we can talk about it. Let's see here. Do this. All right. Go over here. Okay. There we go. Okay, there we go. So there is a Google Meets link in the chat. If anybody wants to join in there, you can feel free to join into the conversation. That's entirely up to you. But what we were talking about, I went over a bunch of news articles just to give a brief overview. I talked about the new Amazon Fire TV device. Don't buy it. Talked about the cloud storage. A lot of people may not realize Amazon is one of the biggest server cloud storage companies out there. VPNs aren't working really properly with the new Fire TV stick. It's an article there. Gemini is an up and coming thing that I think is going to be a very big deal going forward for a lot of Android users. Italy is trying a weird plan to stop IPTV pirates by shaming them. This was on UG Tech. That is a very interesting take on it, since Italy is one of the key places that a lot of IPTV comes from, or where they organize it and then ship it out to the world. Microsoft makes it official for a new dark mode that's getting a major needed upgrade on Windows 11. So this is good news for a lot of people. Let's go to Now the company is kicking the effort into high gear with a new ROG Ally line of handheld gaming consoles with Xbox branded, which means that future Xboxes could end up being something like an Asus ROG or maybe an MSI. Who knows? I mean, if they partnered with ROG, they could partner with the Zeus. They could partner with somebody else. And I think the future of Microsoft actually making Xboxes is on the way out. That's my opinion. We'll see if that actually happens. But according to what's already been happening with them making a handheld, I think they're seeing how that goes. But Xbox is obviously up prices on their Game Pass. Xbox wants to be on more devices everywhere. They want to be the number one gaming community out there. So Microsoft said its next-gen Xbox console is going to be a very premium, very high curated device. What we have here is also, let's see here. What we have here also is Linus Tech Tips also talked about Xbox might be cooked. This was good information, good video there about Xbox raising prices and about what's going on with Xbox. And the Amiga news, where Amiga is coming out. They're coming out with a new A1200 with an HDMI port. This is an old PC from the early 90s. And it's just great to see something, the company's being revived. So we'll see how that goes. Synology, again, I don't recommend going with NAS units like Synology. I would recommend you go with an x86 based standard unit that allows you to load whatever you want, whether you want that server NAS machine to run Linux, or you want it to run Windows, or you want it to run something like TrueNAS, OpenNAS. There's a lot of options out there. Also, again, I run x86 and I run pfSense and OpenSense to run custom firewall router software for my home router that does all my routing. And then my Wi-Fi is a separate mesh Wi-Fi. The router is just a router. That's all it does. There's no Wi-Fi on it. The Wi-Fi is on a whole separate setup. And then Graphene OS, they're expanding to come onto more devices, which I think over the next couple of years could be huge for us in the Android world, where we can turn to that OS on a lot of flagship phones and devices out there. It's only been on the Pixel. Now it's they've confirmed that they're partnering with major Android OEMs to bring it to other phones. So this is all news that I thought was good information for everybody to know. So just to give you all a brief overview of all that news. All right, we're at about 50 minutes, getting close to that hour mark. I covered a lot of information in this video, and I hope the information was useful to you. If it was, then please hit a thumbs up and like the video, comment, let me know news that I missed that you think is important, please, and it might help me in the future to do to come out with news articles and information that is curated more to what you all want to listen to and hear and know about, so that I can give you that news and information. I'm going to try to do a once a week type of show like this to give you guys, a well-rounded actual tech news show. We talked about phones, we talked about NASAs, we talked about gaming, we talked about streaming, all the way across the board in this show. So, yeah, that's what I want my channel to be. Is I want it to be a well-rounded tech channel and not just pigeonholed to one specific subject. And hopefully that works for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna head on out and go get me some dinner. Actually, an early dinner, because I haven't eaten anything yet today. It's only 2 o'clock over here on the West Coast, so I do have some food in there to go warm up and eat. So you guys have a wonderful one, and I'll see you